So, hello everyone. My name is Colin Hancock. I am a graduate student at Columbia University, but also a jazz historian and musician. I lead a band here in New York City called the Signature Seven.
Just a reminder to our audience that all of our music clips that we played during the presentation and were selected by Colin will be available in a full-length YouTube playlist on our channel, Triple Step Studios. So feel free to jam out to this music later on.
When a swing reaches its apex, it stops momentarily before gravity pulls it downward. When he would tell me, now swing it here, he meant to pause before going to the next note or the next measure. That's why it has that kind of forward pushing, syncopated kind of feel. Whereas in the swing era, the beat is felt backwards. It's still suspended, but in a different direction. And that's why you have a ding, ding, a ding, ding, a ding feel, which is back. They're both swinging, but they're in different directions. These tunes are the same melody under different names. Because the banjo was swinging in sort of a backwards way, actually, kind of like laying back a little bit. But the cornet player, Johnny Droit, who's the leader of the band, was pushing really forward, dun 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 da 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 da, like really pushing that rhythm forward. So it's swinging almost in two ways at once.
And I was wondering, one of the bands you said was from New Orleans, but I was wondering kind of why the music diverged, if there's a reason during that time, because it was the same year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, like hot jazz has a lot of different sort of subgenres, and it gets even more complicated because it's almost like within the subgenres there are also other subgenres. So you have subgenres and substyles because things were segregated, and also just the nature of the country in that era in particular, because it was really when we started to become more connected and be able to like call people and do that kind of stuff and buy records, have mass culture. You're getting the last little semblances of individual regional styles and sounds that get not necessarily completely destroyed, but like pretty muted after things get more connected. Any of you were here for Gordon's talk on one of the previous presentations. He spoke about the importance of Louis Armstrong musically. Well, here is an example of just how important he was. Here's something from, I think, only a year after the previous recording we heard, The Meanest Kind of Blues. Hear how Louis Armstrong swings.
If you should shortly tell what hot jazz is for a 5-year-old child, how would you describe hot jazz?
Hot jazz is the kind of jazz music that was in the entire history of jazz's earliest era. It's the earliest kind of style of jazz, really from when the term jazz is used to describe the music all the way until the term swing is used to describe the music. And the thing about hot jazz is within it, there are a ton of different styles, a ton of different sounds, textures, ensembles, styles, and all sorts of stuff. A little bit smaller than this, but by the late 20s, this was the instrumentation. And you can see it looks almost like your standard big band. And they're really moving in that direction. Look at your banjo player. What's that next to his leg? It's a guitar. So we're getting textures, guitar, string bass, multiple brass, not just one trumpet and one trombone, 3 trumpets, sections, orchestrated music. Things were changing. If you can see sort of behind me, I have an acoustic phonograph on my shelf with a horn. And the way recordings were made back in the day was you would play into a horn, a much bigger one than this, but a horn, and the sound would vibrate a cutter at the end, which would cut a groove literally from the sound that you were singing or playing into the horn. And even the best companies with the best technology and the best, cutter or whatever, it was still basically just a glorified, like when you hold a cup to it and can feel your voice vibrate at the end. So you want to hear just how much a string bass being able to be recorded changes the music. Here's a band from New Orleans, Sam Morgan's jazz band, but with a string bass instead of a tuba playing something, and listen to how much this swings. Here's Bogalusa Strut. Making the music loose and making it fun and making it danceable. And really, isn't that what jazz music is in a way? It's making music fun and listenable and danceable